Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Stacking Perpetrator here again. I'm still going through, trying to break this up so I don't have like hour-long, 2-hour-long video. But I'm going through and I'm sorting my collection and prepping it so that I can catalog it so that it makes things easier when I set up my trust, and having things organized makes it easier to catalog. And then once I get it cataloged, then it makes it easier to move it into the trust. And I will get more into the trust aspect as things come along, but I need to get the organization and the cataloging done first. You've seen me go through some of these little tin slab holders that I have, and we are still narrowing down the slabs. I ran out of space for all the slabs that I have, and I've had to move some of those into the box for a future sell, trade, or upgrade for gold. No, I'm not willing to sell any of the coins at this point. That is for, like I said, future sell, trade, or upgrade for gold. Also in the process of organizing things, freeing up some space in the slab boxes for future expansion, getting coins and getting it organized and everything. I've run across some slabs of especially the American Silver Eagle, the collection I have. I'm actually going to be removing some coins from this collection. I thought about going one direction, and what I've decided is that I want one coin from every year on the bullion strike. I want one burnished coin with the W mint mark from every year that they were put out, including having the 2008 with the reverse of 7. And then not only the bullion and the burnished W's, I'm looking for, I'm putting to the proof set, every proof that was put out, whether it was West Point, San Francisco, Philadelphia, whatever, the reverse proofs, the V75. I want my collection of ASEs to be an example of one of the coins from every type that they issued. Now I know that they do the first strikes, and sometimes they just grade them and they put the mint where they were minted in the parentheses because the grading companies cut the straps. You got the early releases, but it still has these have the W in parentheses. Here's another one with the W in parentheses. The parentheses just means that they came out of a box that was minted at West Point, San Francisco, Philadelphia, what have you. If it doesn't have the parentheses, then it will have a mint mark on the reverse of the coin, either over here or on this side. I am looking to build my collection out with one example from every bullion, every burnished coin, every proof, every enhanced proof, every reverse proof, and any special strikes that they do make. Now I know I'm going to, I think one of my videos I was throwing off on the first strike, and I know I probably ruffled some feathers, but I gave a good example as to what the grading companies in the mint can do to rectify and make the first strike label worthwhile and worth paying an extra premium for. I hope they are listening, and hopefully that they will, think that through, because as it stands now, first strike label is absolutely meaningless to me. I will not pay extra for it. And I'm also about to break into something else another label that I do not agree with, and I will show you why. And so let's get into that. We're going to go with the 2020. We're going to start out first with those. This one here is the 2020 W in parentheses, meaning it does not have a mint mark. So this is just a bullion coin where the entire monster box with the strapped paperwork was sent to PCGS. They cut the straps, and because of, like I pointed out on the other coin, which they don't print this on there anymore, that they were delivered within the first 30 days of initial release. that automatically qualifies it for first strike. I've explained why I do not agree with first strike. That is a meaningless label to me, but I'm using this because of the 2020. Now, we all know what happened 2020 and yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to get into that. I do not want to ever get political and all that, but I do have a beef with what they called the emergency issue, where they struck these, I think it was 450,000 coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The P is in parentheses because there is no mint mark on the back, on the reverse of the coin. There's no mint mark. So if this coin ever got out of this slab, if I just showed you this and I just showed you that without you knowing, you could not tell me if this was West Point, Philadelphia, or San Francisco just by looking at the reverse or the obverse of the coin. There are no die markers. The mint has set it up this way so that there's total consistency no matter where these coins are minted. There is absolutely no way to look at a coin solely by looking at the coin, looking at the strike to determine which mint minted it. So, that being said, to me, the emergency issues were a money-making scam. These came out. These were very high. I have a MS69. I got these on the cheap. I did not pay premiums for these. I also have the San Francisco. The S is in parentheses. I will show you the reverse of the coin. There is no mint mark. This simply, the box was sent to the PCGS. They cut the straps. They verified that it came from the San Francisco Mint. Here again, both of these coins. If I did this, took them off camera, swapped them around, brought them back, showed you the obverse of the coins, flipped them over, showed you the reverse of the coins, you could not tell me simply by looking at these two coins which one was Philadelphia or which one is San Francisco. There is absolutely no way to do that, and anybody that tells you otherwise does not know the minting process and how the mint has set these up to be minted. Surprise, I didn't change anything. I left them the same. Philadelphia was over here, San Francisco was here. Without the label, you have absolutely no idea which one is which. So, the part that I don't agree about with the emergency issue, because they act like that the only reason they minted some at Philadelphia and San Francisco was because of labor issues or whatever was going on at the time, and they sent some dies to Philadelphia and San Francisco, and they call them emergency issues. Well, I could understand that if Philadelphia had never ever minted a silver eagle and this was their first time doing it. Same thing with San Francisco. I could understand emergency issues. San Francisco, let's say they had never ever minted a silver eagle at San Francisco other than the proof, which the mint mark is stamped on the coin. But this is a lie. This is a lie. San Francisco has minted coins before. Eagles. How come this 2013 S had to be minted at the San Francisco Mint? The mint has to mint the eagles to meet demand. That is by law. They have to mint enough eagles to meet demand. That's in the law. So seeing as this coin, in parentheses, was minted at San Francisco, struck at San Francisco Mint, right on the label, this is MS69, how come this is not an emergency issue? Why? Because it was their regular, they had to fire up the San Francisco Mint along with, I don't remember if it was West Point doing the 13s. I got a 14 West Point. So I know West Point was 14, but I think West Point was also the main minter for the 2013s. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but I'm just using it for an example. But emergency issue, this is like saying that the San Francisco Mint has never ever before minted silver eagles. This is This label is a lie. It's not an emergency issue. They fired up the presses to meet demand by law. Same thing with Philadelphia. Where do you think your 86, 87, 88 bullion strikes came from? They originally, when the Eagle program was started, they were originally mostly, I think they solely minted them at Philadelphia. It was a few years later that they introduced San Francisco into the mix, and the reason they added the San Francisco is because demand went up and they had to mint out more coins to meet the demand that is established by law. So this emergency issue, this is stupid. This is a money grab. This is to make you think something special went on when all it was is the mint had to send Philadelphia some dies and San Francisco some dies to pump out the coins to meet the law. They had to do that. It wasn't any, now there was special circumstances, don't remember what those, as to why they had to send these over, because they couldn't keep up. But by law, they had to keep up with demand. The only way to do that, they were having problems at the West Point Mint. They had to send some dies to Philadelphia and San Francisco. But looking at this to 2013, they've done it before in order to meet demand. When there's multiple mints minting the bullion coin, it's because one mint can't keep up with demand and they have to send the dies to another mint, which would be Philadelphia or San Francisco. Denver has never minted the Silver Eagle. They've never, in the history of the Silver Eagle, the Denver Mint has never been involved. So that's where I say this is a lie. Then we turn around in 2021, and we wind up again with emergency issues at Philadelphia, as if Philadelphia has never minted coins before, or like the previous year where they sent them some dies and they fired up the press and they minted some coins. They did it for the Type 1 because the West Point Mint could not keep up with demand for the Type 1. Then they turn around in San Francisco, they sent them some dies, and they minted out some Type 1s. But then they're still behind on demand when they introduced the Type 2. By law, demand, they have to keep up with demand. They have to mint enough to meet demand. But West Point, which I don't have a 2021, I got a 2021, two of them. I've got two early releases, but these are Type 1s. I don't have a Type 2. But here again, we're back at San Francisco, minting some Type 2 emergency Eagles, and they're calling it emergency issue. That's a lie. They might have had problems with what was going on. Everybody knows what's going on. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get political or whatever. But this label is a lie. They had to send dies to San Francisco to mint these to help West Point keep up with the demand that is required by law. That's why I don't agree with these. I will keep these in my collection. This one here struck at San Francisco Mint, the 2013. It came out of San Francisco box. I'm going to move that over into my future sell box because I had at one point thought about going all the way back to 86 and getting a slab coin that would have the P in parentheses, and then where it was Philadelphia and San Francisco, I was going to get one of each and add in just so I had one, and then have a collection where I had one from minted at Philadelphia, minted at San Francisco, and then when they got to the West Points, I was going to get the West Point and then the San Francisco, and then when they did the Philly and all that. But I'm like, these are such garbage. The Mint has this is the one thing the Mint does that they do get correct. They mint these coins. They mint these so that, make sure I got the right ones, so that they've got a system set up that no matter where they're doing these in West Point, Philadelphia, San Francisco, even if they fired up the Denver Mint to put these out, which would be kind of cool to have a Silver Eagle from Denver Mint since they haven't minted one. By the way, that's Mint. You listening? U.S. Mint, are you listening? Anyways, if you don't know the label and you're simply looking at the coins side by side, you look at them on the reverses, and you look at the coins, there is absolutely no way to determine which coin was minted at which mint. I can switch them around, and I'll do it back here. I'll keep the labels down so I don't know. You tell me which is which. Which is which? Which one of these is San Francisco? Which one's Philadelphia? Hang on. I'm going to keep them on the same side, and I'm going to bring them in so I don't show the labels. Look at these coins. Which one was minted where? You cannot tell. Bring it down. Philadelphia, San Francisco. You cannot tell by looking at the coins. This is another one of these. And then First Strike on top of it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let's go back to Philadelphia. I'm pretty sure Philadelphia only did 450,000 coins. First Strike. Okay, was that 1 die, 2 dies, 5 dies? Was it 10 dies? What was it? First Strike. We know what the rule is. Delivered within the first 30 days. Come on, camera, focus. Where's my focus? We know by PCGS's own words, delivered within first 30 days of initial release. I guarantee you, when they minted out 450,000 coins, all of those coins were probably run off in 1 day, possibly 2 days. So all the boxes would have left the mint at the same time. It just happened that some of the boxes, and probably all of the boxes, made it to PCGS so that they could get these First Strikes and this emergency issue BS label put on them. First Strike, meaningless. Meaningless. Was this the first coin? Was it the 10th coin? Was it the 450,000th coin to come off the presses? Who knows? If it's the 450,000th coin, which I'm pretty sure was the production for 2020 at the Philadelphia Mint, if it was the 450,000th coin to come off the press, is it deserving of a First Strike? If it just so happened that the box that the very last coin came in got to PCGS within the first 30 days, within 30 days of it being released from the mint, are you kidding me? You know, who are they fooling? So anyways, enough of my rambling. I will keep the emergency issues as part of my collection. I may even keep this 2020 W, even though it's not a mint marked W. I may keep it just because I'll have the blue, the green, and the red. It should be Philadelphia and San Francisco. It should actually go this way. But Mint Point, West Point, I'll keep it up front because it was the main producer, the main mint, and then the Philadelphia, and then they brought San Francisco online. So anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of the emergency issue? Am I off my rocker? What do you think? Let me know down below. I'm interested in hearing it. We'll see you on the next one.